let's start with the Avenatti stuff, because there was one thing that I wanted to touch on. I alluded to it at the beginning of the show, but I want to go a little deeper with this. So, look, I'm a little skeptical of Michael Avenatti, just broadly speaking, because he's a little flamboyant and hyperbolic, I guess. And, I think my sense is he's out there for Michael Avenatti, and or at the very least, this is a guy who has a very high estimation of himself, and he thinks that he's personally defeating Donald Trump. He sent an email. Well, let's play this clip of him on Rachel Maddow, where he brings up what the gist of what he is pushing at the moment.
In this same matter, the other people who you're representing, other than your client, who I should mention you are not naming at this point, are they people who are witnesses to the behavior that she is going to describe? Or is this all one, are the people that you're representing here, is this all about one specific allegation?
No, it's not about one specific allegations. It's a series of allegations. This is a pattern of behavior, Rachel, that took place across many months and many years. And I will say this, we have demanded that Mark Judge be subpoenaed to testify before the committee in public so that the American people can hear Mark Judge answer questions about his close friend, Brett Kavanaugh. So far, those requests have fallen on deaf ears. For some reason, Chairman Grassley and others do not want the American people to hear from Mark Judge. For some reason, Brett Kavanaugh does not want the American people to hear from his close friend, Mark Judge. And I think that should tell people everything they need to know about Mark Judge and what he may say.
Now, you just said a moment ago that you expect your client will go public with these allegations within the next 48 hours. That sounds like you are doing that in advance of the hearing that, as of right now, is still scheduled for Thursday morning. Is that deliberate in terms of trying to make sure that these allegations are in the public eye before that hearing convenes on Thursday morning?
Well, that's one of the factors, absolutely, Rachel, and we've asked the committee to allow her to testify. We've asked the committee to turn this over to the FBI. Because, to your point earlier in the show, we believe all of these allegations, not just the allegations from my client, not just the allegations from the other clients that I have that are corroborating witnesses, but also Dr. Ford, Ms. Ramirez, and others. All of these allegations should be tested. They should be investigated by the FBI. There should not be a rush to judgment, either for or against Brett Kavanaugh. You know, Justice Scalia's seat was kept open for over 400 days, Rachel.
I mean, a part of what makes me a little skeptical of this guy is that he clearly is functioning outside of the realm of a lawyer to a more sort of like public political lawyer. And but I will get to why I actually think there may be something here. First off, this is the questions that he has sent to the committee, and with suggestions of questions to ask Mark Judge. And right there is good. And these are, questions that should be asked Brett Kavanaugh. Did you ever target one or more women for sex or rape at a house party? Did you ever assist Mark Judge or others doing so? Did you ever attend a house party during which a woman was gang raped or used for sex by multiple men? Did you ever witness a line of men outside a bedroom at any house party where you understood a woman was in the bedroom being raped or taken advantage of? Did you ever participate in sexual conduct with a woman at a house party who you understood to be intoxicated or under the influence of drugs? Did you ever communicate with Mark Judge or anyone else about your participation in a train involving an intoxicated woman? Did you ever object or attempt to prevent one or more men from participating in the rep or taking advantage of a woman at any house party? All this alludes to Avenatti having a client who is aware that Brett Kavanaugh was at a house party, at multiple house parties, where Mark Judge was involved in getting a woman so drunk that she ended up having sex with multiple men at the party. Boys, men, whatever. 16, 17-year-olds, we don't know over exactly which time period. And how much Kavanaugh knew about this. And this, of course, is an issue because Mark Judge was in that room. And if Mark Judge has a history of, goading guys into doing this, he may very well have been goading Brett Kavanaugh into this, the virgin. And Kavanaugh, attempted to rape this woman. So I'll tell you why I'm not as skeptical as I might be. No one seems to be making this connection. I'm not sure why, but deep in the Farrow Mayer piece on Deborah Ramirez, there was this. After seeing Judge's denial, Elizabeth Razor, who met Judge at Catholic University, was in a relationship with him for about 3 years, said that she felt morally obligated to challenge his account that, quote, no horseplay took place at Georgetown Prep with women, end quote. Razor stressed that under normal circumstances, I wouldn't reveal information that was told in confidence. But she said, quote, I can't stand by and watch him lie. This is speaking of Mark Judge. In an interview with The New Yorker, she said, quote, Mark told me a very different story. Razor recalled that Judge had told her ashamedly. Remember now, they're having this conversation in college. Ashamedly of an incident that involved him and other boys taking turns having sex with a drunk woman.
That is to say,
so raping her.
That is to say, raping her.
Razor said that Judge seemed to regard it as fully consensual. Now, this is a guy who's feeling very guilty about his involvement in having sex with a woman who is drunk with other guys, but he's feeling guilty about it, but there was no reason to. It was totally consensual. But nevertheless, put aside the state of mind of this woman who was intoxicated. This guy, and it's hearsay, but we're not in a criminal court. This guy, there's hearsay evidence that he participated in this type of stuff. Another woman who attended high school in the 1980s in Montgomery County, Maryland, where Georgetown Prep is located, also refuted Judge's account of the social scene at the time. She sent a letter to Ford's lawyers saying that she had witnessed boys at parties that included Georgetown Prep students engaging in sexual misconduct. In an interview, the woman, who asked to have her name withheld for fear of political retribution, recalled that male students, quote, would get a female student blind drunk on what they called jungle juice, grain alcohol mixed with Hawaiian punch, and then try and take advantage of her. It was disgusting. They treated women like meat. So it seems to me that these two stories are not too far off from the description that is alluded to by Michael Avenatti. But they are more specific than the unnamed woman gave. And it's possible his client was Elizabeth Razor, but it sounds like a slightly different account. It sounds like they're describing the same events from a slightly different perspective. So we'll see. And we're going to know the answer to this, I think, in the next 48 hours. Before that hearing, if that hearing happens. But the idea that Mark Judge is now in a beach house somewhere, hiding out from reporters with a bunch of comic books, seems ludicrous. I mean, if you want to assess if this happened, shouldn't you bring in both the people who are accused of being there? Like in the room?
Yeah, well-off white men cannot be charged as adults until they're at least 60. I don't know if any of you knew that. So
I was not aware that was the rule, but it sure feels like that.
Also, this, like, I know you said it before, but I just want to reiterate, this is not a trial. This is a job interview. People get rejected from job interviews for posting slutty pictures on social media. So, like, the standard is different than in a trial.